I want to ask Anastasia Palaszczuk
Changed his mind a lot by the look of things.
it was called a crazy renewable target. How was it received when you were leader?
Well, very well, because we put in place our renewable energy and jobs plan, which was very well received, about building the copper string, which brings all the renewables online, the super grid that comes down, the 2 pumped hydros. And I think what people don't realise is all this massive investment that's going into renewables right now. Now, you talk about nuclear. I've just come back from Japan. It takes 20 years to build a nuclear power plant. We've got not much history of that at all in Australia. It then takes 20 or 40 years to decommission it. And then when you talk about the waste, it can take anything from 40 years to 20,000 years when you're dealing with the waste. So there needs to be a big understanding out there that we need to accelerate our path to decarbonisation a lot faster.
It's not going to take that long to roll out nuclear. We look at what, say,
well,
the large...
Facts.
Well, hang
on.
The large tech companies we've heard in the last week have been signing up to commission nuclear to power the data centres for the explosion coming from artificial intelligence. But the other thing, just on this pumped hydro, look, yeah, I love renewable energy myself, and we install it on the buildings that we buy for our investors. But I'll tell you now that the pumped hydro schemes have one big problem that no one's answered, and that's the environmental approvals. If you couldn't build a dam, the Traveston Dam, to supply water for South East Queensland when we went down to 15%, how are you going to build a dam west of Mackay in a beautiful, pristine valley adjoining a national park? You will not get the environmental
approvals. And what the
LNP
is saying is that Mackay in regional Queensland should be denied the biggest investment that the country has ever seen in a pumped hydro.
I'm saying it won't happen, Anastasia. I'm saying it won't happen on environmental grounds. So we really have to look at other mechanisms to supply our reliable baseload power. And like pumped hydro, whether it be the LNP's scheme or your former government scheme, it ain't going to happen because it will not get environmental approvals.
It certainly won't be $7 billion.
It certainly won't. It certainly won't.
No.
Now, look, if I can just come back to what we've seen twice in the... I want to point out, polls are still open in Queensland, and already tonight we've seen twice the Queensland Conservatives arguing amongst themselves.
We're not Conservatives. We're libertarians.
Okay.
There is a big difference, Pat.
Okay, look,
a huge difference.
Right, you'll agree that
Wash your mouth, please, mate.
You agree you're right of centre.
No.
But the right of centre are arguing amongst each other, arguing with anyone. You'll argue with me, that's good too. So we've already got this, already falling out with one another, which I think is just beautiful.
We fell out a long time ago.
We fell out a long time ago, to be fair.
A long time ago. When you knifed Tony Abbott, mate, that's probably...
Really? Oh, yeah, that's the reason why you left the party, is the scandal.
It had a lot to do with it, James.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Sorry, Pat,
But we've
go on.
also got, again, polls haven't closed in Queensland. We've already got word that maybe David Christofouli's commitment to not have nuclear in Queensland is not as rock solid as voters might have thought it was. I mean, there's a lot of doors being opened, and I think we've still got about 3 or 4 minutes of voting.
Probably as strong as Albo's commitment on stage 3 tax cuts was as well. I mean, come on. Every politician reserves the right to change their mind when circumstances change. You guys have a litany of broken promises. I'd be pretty careful using that one.